Welcome to the 13th IISS Asia Security Summit, the Shangri-La Dialogue. This is the largest gathering of government officials and top experts on the Asia-Pacific we have ever brought together. It promises to be a stimulating and, I trust, a productive weekend. We reconvene in a year characterized by the return of geopolitics to the center stage of international relations and global debate about power today. There are, of course, many forms of power. There is military, diplomatic, economic, financial, market, people, reputational, and idea power. If there is a balance of power today, it is only the balance between these different types of power. Governments and businesses that are successful need to navigate effectively these various forms and types of power if they are to succeed. And given the way all these types of power mix in today's world, things can change very quickly. In these circumstances, our century has a neo-Darwinian flavor. It is not so much survival of the fittest as power to the most agile. It is speed rather than heft that can determine diplomatic and even military victories, the creation of financial advantage, and the establishment of political leadership. Speed has even become an attribute of power and a necessary condition of success. To the phrases hard power, soft power, and smart power, so often used today, could be added fast power, the ability to shape events at speed effectively, a skill all governments and businesses have to deploy effectively. What they see before them now is a fast-moving strategic scene where geopolitical competition is again openly breaking out all over the place. There is no doubt that this region, the Asia-Pacific, or the Indo-Pacific, as it is sometimes called, is a geopolitically highly charged area. It is a place where strategic swagger mixes with diplomatic caution, where solemn proclamations of principle intermingle with selective breaches of norms. It is a region where military modernization invites an action-reaction dynamic that operates without the constraint of formal arms control arrangements or the calming comforts of established confidence-building measures. It is a place where regional institutions abound and national competition remains fierce. There is domestic instability, international tension and suspicion, and all the while, the highest priority put on continuing the Asian economic miracle that could bring so much prosperity to people here and indeed across the globe. It is good in these fast-moving circumstances that the Shangri-La Dialogue annually provides the opportunity to take stock, take a breath, and then take away a renewed conviction that defense diplomacy is essential to securing well-grounded peace and stability in this region. It is always best if reasoned debate takes place against the background of a sober presentation of the facts and a transparent appreciation of the regional trends. The IISS is delighted, therefore, to present at this Shangri-La Dialogue our strategic dossier, Regional Security Assessment 2014, Key Developments and Trends in Asia-Pacific Security, that in over 200 densely packed pages presents a picture of the current security environment in facts, figures, and analysis. I commend it to you as an excellent treatment of the complex issues that the ministers and countries represented here are facing. It is no surprise that more and more countries are interested in joining this Shangri-La Dialogue process. We have particularly sensed a keen interest from the states on the other side of the Pacific, including the Latin American states of the recently established Pacific Alliance. This fact reminds us that today, thinking strategically also means thinking trans-Pacifically. That is why the IISS, having created the Shangri-La Dialogue in Singapore and the Manama Dialogue in Bahrain, has decided to launch a new Trans-Pacific Summit styled the Cartagena Dialogue that we intend to convene in Colombia in March 2015. The Cartagena Dialogue will bring together all the countries from Canada to Chile that lie on the Pacific coast of the Americas with a dozen countries of the Asia-Pacific, as well as the UK, France, Spain, Portugal, and the EU. It will have a geo-economic focus. We at the IISS are keen to support the growing political and economic links between the two sides of the Pacific, and we hope that this third dialogue in our series will also develop into a valued institution. Today, as this 13th Shangri-La Dialogue is opened, everyone gathered here will be thinking strategically, trans-Pacifically, and globally. They will face directly the issues of the day, listen to each other, and work to reconcile differences in perspective. It is important at the opening dinner of the Shangri-La Dialogue to have a speaker who can address with authority the important strategic questions, can put forward policy ideas to animate our debate, and who can encourage effective defense diplomacy. Since the first Shangri-La Dialogue opened in 2002, we have borne witness to Japan's commitment to defense diplomacy. Indeed, aside from Australia and Singapore, Japan is the only country to have, from the first through to the 13th Shangri-La Dialogue, sent each year its defense minister as leader of its official delegation. Its top defense officials have always been actively involved in the specialized meetings here, as have senior representatives from the business and academic communities. It is splendid that we were able to secure the early agreement of Prime Minister Shinzo Abe of Japan to deliver the keynote opening address at this year's Shangri-La Dialogue. Prime Minister Abe, born in Tokyo in 1954, is a graduate from the Faculty of Law at Sekai University, worked at Kobe Steel, has been elected 7 times to the House of Representatives for Yamaguchi 4th District, was Prime Minister first in 2006, and has served again as President of the Liberal Democratic Party and Prime Minister since 2012. His name, in the portmanteau form of Abenomics, is attached to a particular economic policy based upon the 3 arrows of fiscal stimulus, monetary easing, and structural reform. Recently, his government approved the country's first ever national security strategy that sets out the argument for a proactive contribution to peace. Under his leadership, economic revival has provided the basis for a more extrovert Japanese foreign policy that has emphasized closer political and security relations with Southeast Asia, India, and Australia, and strengthened ties with the United States. Prime Minister Abe, you do a great honor to the Shangri-La Dialogue process by opening this 13th Shangri-La Dialogue. Your presence here represents a commitment to multilateral engagement and to public and private diplomacy. We warmly welcome you to this Asia Security Summit. Everyone here is greatly looking forward to your remarks this evening. Prime Minister, the floor and this podium are yours.